This is a summary based on what I learned from Andrew Huberman's Huberman Lab podcast episode with David Goggins titled How to Build Immense Inner Strength. And then just to get straight into the summary, the main key takeaway from this podcast episode is that the only way to make changes in your life for the better is to do things that you don't want to do. There's this brain area that Huberman describes to Goggins called the anterior mid-cingulate cortex. And every time you do something that you don't want to do, again, when you do things that you don't want to do, this brain area grows bigger. But the second you do something that you want to do, or you skip doing something that you know you should be doing, this brain area shrinks. So as fast as we can grow it, it can shrink just as fast. The reason why this is so important, and the reason why Huberman labels this as one of the most important discoveries in neuroscience, is that this anterior mid-cingulate cortex isn't just the driver of willpower. It's the driver for our will to live. And the reason being is that this is the part of the brain that gets us to do hard things. It's what makes us lean into doing difficult challenges and endeavors. And it's just what drives us to make progress in our lives. And as what was described earlier, it gets larger when we embrace effort and do things that we don't want to do, and gets smaller when we don't engage in challenging endeavors. And the reason why this is so important in the context of applying it to your life is that not only will building this area of the brain enhance your willpower and tenacity, because, well, you're doing hard things and activities that you normally don't want to do, which is overall making you a better person and getting you closer towards your goals. But studies have also shown that individuals who live a long time, their anterior mid-cingulate cortex remains the same size. And this is because of the enhancement in cognitive function and resilience that it brings to an individual. And with this information, we can see a direct translation to David Goggins' life and his lifestyle. We all know Goggins for his vigorous lifestyle and his physical and mental toughness. And the reason why that he was able to build himself into being this absolute warrior is not because he was gifted with some special talents or because he won the genetic lottery. That couldn't be farther from the truth. And I don't know everything about Goggins' life, but by being an amateur listener of him, and from what I've learned about him in this podcast, is that this dude had all the odds stacked against him, and yet he was still able to build himself into someone great. And that is because Goggins understood what it means to bring out your full potential and what it means to work hard. Goggins doesn't rely on motivation to make progress in his goals because he knows that embracing friction, building willpower, maintaining discipline, and self-reflecting is all you really need in order to build yourself from the ground up. And now, I know that this isn't the most actionable podcast episode, as it really just touched upon David's life and him talking about the usual things that he talks about. So things like discipline and embracing the suck. But really the main thing to get out of this podcast episode and this summary is that in order to accomplish your goals in life, in order to become someone great, in order to build yourself from the ground up, and in order to build immense inner strength, there isn't any special hack or some new advice that you need to hear. This couldn't be farther from the truth. The only thing you need to know is that the key to all of this is what you've been told your entire life. To just do it. To just be real to yourself and accept that in order to work towards your goals, you need to work hard. But the reason why you don't and keep on looking for new advice is because you're lazy and you're scared of the suck. You're scared of failing, you're scared of the suffering, and scared of all the other negative things that come from working hard. And that's fine, because that's something that we all experience. That is something that I personally need to work on a lot. You don't need a training partner or some coach or some tacky motivational speaker. Because all you need is to trust in yourself to do your very best in anything that you do. Because the trust that you have for yourself and the trust you have for God is practically the only thing in this entire universe that you can control. And that's why you need to embrace the friction that's going on in your life. That's why you need to build willpower and tenacity. That's why you need to stay disciplined and consistent in your work. And that is why you need to make the area in your brain that is responsible for all of this stronger. But the only way of doing that is by doing hard things that you don't want to do. And that is the end of this summary. I hope you found some value in it, and I hope I saved you some time. Just leave comments, questions, or topics that you want me to cover in the next video in the comment section, and I will see you in the next one.